Good evening. Welcome to Above Bar Church. Do come in. Do grab a seat. Do come on in if you're in the lounge as well. Welcome. Welcome to Above Bar Church. It's a little bit different from our normal services in the evening. You might have noticed that by the configuration of chairs. Tonight is a Real Lives event. We do Real Lives regularly here at Above Bar Church. Real Lives is an opportunity to hear from different people, hear their stories, about their experience, about their expertise, about what they do, and also about their faith and the difference Jesus makes in their life. So this evening, in a moment, I'm going to welcome up Tony Jarrett. I'll interview him for about 25 minutes. Then there'll be a 10-minute break. You can refresh your drinks, you can chat, and then we'll have another 25 minutes of interview before wrapping up. I'm very excited for this evening, and as a little taster for what Tony Jarrett does, we're going to watch a very quick video of him in action. If we've got that, Steve-O.
Of Germany, runner-up in the European Cup in 1. Philippe Touré, third in the European Cup for France in 2. Tony Jarrett of Great Britain in 3. Li Tong, the Asian record holder from China, lane 4. Colin Jackson, European and Commonwealth champion and Olympic silver medalist, lane 5. Courtney Hawkins of the United States, lane 6. Tony Dees, number 3 in the world last year, behind Jackson and the double Olympic champion Roger Kingdom. He's in 7. Stefan Karistan of France in lane 8. Big domestic clash here between Jackson and Jarrett. Jarrett, another of those athletes who, if he gets it all right, can beat the best in the world. Jackson will not want the humiliation of losing on home soil here to his great British rival. But don't forget the classy Americans in particular in the overseas challenge.
Set.
And they're away first time. A good start made by Jackson and Jarrett as well. Jarrett going well, third from the right. Tony Dees of the United States, second from the left, looking with the lead at the moment. In the middle, it's Jarrett, and that was mighty close. I think Jarrett just got it on the lead from Tony Dees. Tony Jarrett, the 22-year-old from Haringey, has proved what we said. When he gets it right, he can beat the best in the world, and he's just done so.
Well, let's take another look at this race. Jarrett got a great start there in lane 3. First to the hurdle. Yes, I think he was first to the hurdle there. Definitely first to the second. And look on the outside there, Tony Dees going well, second from the outside. At this particular point, Jarrett is well clear there of Jackson. Jackson's struggling there a little bit, but it's between the two, Dees and Jarrett. I think that Jarrett definitely got it at the dip there, but let's have a closer look. Ooh, well, my money's on Jarrett. We'll have to wait for the photo again, but...
Well, I'm exhausted just watching that. He's competed in 5 World Championships, 4 Olympic Games, 4 Commonwealth Games, and 3 European Championships. Please give a warm welcome to Tony Jarrett. Tony, thank you so much for visiting us. Thank you so much for coming to Above Bar for Real Lives.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
What race was that particularly that we just watched?
Gosh, that was back in '92. It was what we call one of the Diamond League Grand Prix at Crystal Palace many years ago. That's when I was young, fit, and had hair and had a six-pack. But now I'm much older, grey, and I've got a 1-pack.
Many of us don't even have that. So, I mean, how do you get into doing a 110-meter hurdle? I would hit the first hurdle and probably crack my head open. Did you always want to do that? How did you get into athletics?
No, how I got into it, I was very sporty at school. I loved a lot of sport. I had excellent PE teachers, and I loved basketball because I was quite tall. I tried all sports. So I tried football. I was good, but not that good. I was good, but when I got picked, they said, go and go, Mr. Jarrett. You go and go. So I knew I had no skills on the field, but goalkeeper was good. And athletics came up by accident, really, because when sports day came, I used to do the long jump, high jump, 100 meters, 4x1. And they had hurdles, but there was no technique. I just ran and just jumped up in the air. And I was very lucky that one day, one sports day, my first coach saw me. And when he saw me running all these events, and that, as the sports day actually finished, he just came up and approached me and said, look, I like what you're doing, and I think you can be a star. And if you come train at this track, and on certain days, I will train you to be one of the best.
Okay, so if you're still in school, sports day, take it seriously. You never know.
You never know. You never know.
And did you enjoy school? How was that for you?
I enjoy school. What I said I liked, there's a lot of things I did like about school. Like I liked break time, lunchtime, and home time. Lesson time, woo, I struggled a little bit. I struggled a little bit in school. But I love school, but lessons like maths, when they started to put X equals Y, and I was like, no, you lost me.
Yeah.
But I did really enjoy school in the sense of, you know, my friends, we had some good teachers, and especially my PE teachers. They were the one who really influenced me. When I wanted to take up athletics, and I remember was in the PE changing rooms, and my PE teacher was asking all the students what they want to do when they leave school, and I said, yeah, I want to be an athlete. And all my friends started to laugh, and they're like, nah, he's not going to be no athlete. Where are you wasting your time? And my PE teacher goes, look, if that's what you want to do, pursue it, but work hard, and you can achieve your goals. And I still see them now, my PE teachers, and I always thank them for encouraging me.
That's amazing. That's amazing for that PE teacher as
definitely,
well.
Definitely. I had two good PE teachers.
So this guy approached you at sports day and said, you know, if you work hard, maybe you can make something of this. Where did it go from there?
Well, I went down, how it started, when he came to me and said, like, you know, I can make it start. The great thing what he mentioned an athlete I used to know. I watched. There was a guy back in the day, called Mike McFarland. And I remember watching him in one of these championship Commonwealth Games, and he ran with another great athlete called Alan Wells, and in the Commonwealth Games, and they were both doing 100, I think it was the 200 meters, and they crossed the line and they're dead heated. So they both crossed the line together. I remember watching that. And he said to me, well, I'm coaching a guy called Mike McFarland. And when he said Mike McFarland, my ears pricked up and I thought, yeah, I remember him. I thought, yeah, I watched him. And he goes, listen, if you come training, you know, you'll see him and he'd be part of the team. So I was like, wow. So I went down there he said to come down on a Monday and a Thursday. So I got down there on a Monday.
Can you try this mic? Sorry.
Yep, no problem. Hello, can you hear me? Oops. Is it working? Can you hear me? Yeah, my voice is kind of loud.
Try this one.
There you go. Yeah, so I went down to the track and I saw all these athletes and first day I went there, second day I went there. Then that time when I started training, it was summertime. So summertime I was there, going training. Soon as winter came in, I went missing. I mean, when it started to get cold, I was like, no, I don't want to go training. And, you know, you start to get, told by your friends, like, no, let's go somewhere else, let's go out, something. I thought, yeah, let's go. Instead of going training in the cold, I'll go somewhere else. And one day my coach actually came to my school and found me, you know what I mean? He came to my school and said, like, where is this Mr. Jarrett? I asked the PE staff, and the PE staff said, he's over here. And I remember they called me out the room, and I thought, what have I done, you know? I came out of my classroom thinking, my PE teacher came in the classroom and said, you know, we need to come outside. So I thought, oh, God, what have I done? I'm looking at all my friends like, oh, I was like getting scared. Then I went downstairs to the reception. I saw my coach there standing there, and he goes, where have you been? I was like, yeah, and I tried to tell a little story, a little lie. And then he just said, look, if you're interested, you know what I mean, I want you to come down in these days. And he would come and pick me up at my house. So for a year, he came round to my house after school, after I did my homework, yeah, and picked me up, drove me to training, and drove me back home. And that's how it all started. Wow, he was a very good coach.
He hunted you down.
Yeah, definitely. When I spoke to Mike McFarland, he did the same thing for Mike McFarland. He used to pick him up, drive him down. And so he had a good talent for, seeing the talent and working with him.
Now, how do you train for a 110-meter hurdle? Because do you just keep doing it over and over again, jumping over the hurdles, or what does that look like?
It's a lot of hard work. You know, it's a lot of people say, you know, they see you running. It's about, say, 13 seconds. You know, if you're really good, you're running under 13 seconds. But it's normally the times around 13 seconds of hard work in a race. But in the background, when you're training, it's like we trained like 6 days a week, 3 to 4 hours a day. It's just not the hurdling, it's the running. We did some mad training, crazy training. I coach now myself, and the training I did, I try to put to my athletes, and they can't do it, and they struggle. And I'm thinking, was I mad? Because we trained. But my coach was like that. He was like a guy. He used to say to us, you have to train hard. If you want to be the best, you've got to put the work in. And we said, like, he said to me, it's like putting money in the bank. Every time you train, you're putting about £100 in the bank. And every time you race, you're taking about £250 in the bank. So in the season, athletic season, you're running about, say, 20 competitions. So you've got to make sure your bank is full. Because you don't want to, especially at a championship, you don't want to go to a championship. You always said you don't want to go to a championship, and when you want to peak at a championship, and when you want to put your foot down, then it says to you, insufficient funds. So he just said, like, we worked every day hard. And that's running, weights, circuits. So we just don't run and hurdle. With hurdling, that's another thing. But the running, the circuits, the mobility training, because if you see the hurdles, they're quite high. They're about 3'6" height. And you've got to make your legs do something kind of weird to get over them. And if you don't do them, I always say to my athletes, I say, if you don't negotiate these hurdles properly, the hurdles will tell you that you're mucking about, because you hit them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you've got to make sure your technique is sound. So every day we'll practice and focus on certain things.
Was it, I remember in doing my research, was it Daley Thompson who challenged about what were you doing on Christmas Day?
Yeah. And I was very blessed in the sense where I just didn't have a great coach and great training group. We had a great training group. But Daley Thompson, one of the greatest, well, the greatest decathlon we ever had, was trained at our track. We had great athletes. We even had Seb Cole used to come down to our track and train. So it was such a great track. And I remember, I used to always try to listen to these great athletes. When I sit there and hear Daley Thompson talk, your ears will prick up and think, yeah, what is he saying? So I remember one year, it was coming up to Christmas, and it was a group of us, and we were talking about, like, we trained hard. We were thinking, right, we couldn't wait for Christmas because we were going to, take a little break, eat some Christmas dinner and stuff like that. So we was thinking, look, we're going to take a break. And Daley came over to us and he goes, guys, what are you doing for Christmas? So we're like, yeah, well, we're going to celebrate, eat a lot of food, probably go for a little party and stuff like that. And we, enjoy Christmas because we've been training hard. So we said, what are you going to do? He said, well, when you guys... And he goes, no, what he said to me, he goes, when he sees us doing that, what he thinks that he will work, he trains on Christmas Day. He says, I'm going to train on Christmas Day. And we were like, what? You're training on Christmas Day? He goes, yeah. And we're like, why are you training on Christmas Day? He goes, when opponents like you don't train on Christmas Day, and I train on Christmas Day, I know when I go on the field and on the track, I know I've got one day on them. And I remember that was like a light bulb moment in my head. It was ping, Christmas Day. There was a group of us. The track was closed. We jumped over the fence, and we trained on Christmas Day. And that's the mark of a great athlete, because you had to go out. He actually went out there and did extra. And I thought, well, if Daley Thompson's doing that, I'm going to do that.
So you're putting in the hard work. But was there a moment where you're like, actually, I'm quite good, I can do this? Or when did you have that kind of breakthrough moment?
I think it was, I think as an athlete, when you start off, when I was young, there's a thing called English schools. I remember my coach said to me, and I used to, because I was quite good at athletics when I was at school, they used to, my PE teachers always tell me, let's go to English schools. And I'll be like, and what they told me, when you go to English schools, not now, but back in the day, they would send you to you go to Portsmouth, Birmingham, Leeds or something like that, but you have to stay in somebody else's house. and, and they will look after you. So I'm like, I'm a mummy's boy, and I'm a homebody, and I was like, when I heard I'm staying in somebody else's house, I will miss the coach on purpose. I was like, I'm not staying away from home and not eating somebody else's food, which is not my mum's food. So I stayed home. So when my coach started training me, he goes, well, you need to do English schools because I think I had 2 more years, and the next year I'll be too old to go English schools. So he said, well, you're going to have to go English schools, and you have to see if you can win it. And I remember, okay, and I thought, oh. So I remember going on this coach, going up to Portsmouth, putting this somebody else's house, lovely lady, lovely family. I remember I called my mum and said, yeah, the food's not as good though, Mum. It's not as good, Mum. But my mum used to give me little sandwiches and stuff. I'm like, yeah, eating that. And I went to English schools, and I wasn't the favorite to win. There was a guy called Brett St. Louis. He was favorite, and everybody was talking about him, and he was the man. And I was like the underdog, really. So I remember my coach said to me, look, you got to really run hard here. So I thought, okay, and I'm going up to him, and before the first heat, and I said, Coach, what do I need to do? And I'm thinking my coach is going to give me this great advice of how to hurdle, how to drive out the blocks, how to attack the first hurdle, how to run off. He said, Tony, get from A to B as fast as you can. That was it. I was like, what? I'm looking at him like, is that it? He goes, get from A to B as fast as you can. I said, what about technique? He goes, forget technique, just run and jump. And that's all I did. And when I won that, it kicked off. Then I went to European juniors, and that's when I started to believe myself. When I went English schools, I got a great write-up, thinking an underdog athlete beat the favorite. And I went to European juniors, and that was in Birmingham, and I won that. And then I realized that, hold on, I am quite good. Then my coach said to me, after I won European juniors, he goes, listen, if you train hard enough, you can make the Olympic Games in 1988. And I thought, are you sure about that? He goes, if you train hard, put the work in, you can do that. And in 1988, I made my first Olympic Games.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. And you ended up going to 4 Olympic Games.
4 Olympic Games, yeah.
So not just the one.
I got a bit greedy.
Yeah, yeah. And you've won a medal in all of those competitions you've competed in, except for one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, thanks for telling me that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've won every major championships you're talking about World Championships, Commonwealth Games, and Europeans. I've won medals in all those championships. The only medal I haven't won is Olympic Games, but I nearly did.
Tell us about that. That's what I was coming to.
Okay. Back in 1992 in Barcelona, I remember it was a really tough race. And for me, from my first Olympic Games in '88, what really made me click into my brain that I was quite good, because I was a 19-year-old, my first Olympic Games, and nobody expected me to make a final in 1988. So when that was my goal. I said to myself, my coach said, listen, if you make the final, that'd be a good mark. And my agent said to me, he goes, listen, if you made the final, shoe company would sponsor you. And he told me the money I could make, and I thought, pound signs went up in my eyes. I thought, okay. So my goal was just to make the final. I thought, right, if I can make a final, that was it. So I made the final. When I made the final, I always set goals for myself. So I set my goal was like, make a final, done that. I thought, right, thank you, Lord. I thought, made the final. Then my next goal was like, don't come last in that final. So when I did, I came 6th in my first Olympic Games. But going into Barcelona, I knew I could make a final. That was not a problem. I knew I could make a final. It's what can I do in the final? Can I stand on that podium? And I remember going to Barcelona and made that final, and I wasn't favorite. Really and truly, my rival, Colin Jackson, was favorite. He was running a storm that year. He was, I must admit, it was the first time I've actually thought, all right, maybe come second to this guy, because he ran a first round, a remarkable time in the first round. The time he ran in the first round could have won the Olympic Games. But in that race, he had a nightmare. He started to hit hurdles, and I remember I crossed the line. I remember like the gun went, and I was in lane 8, and I was running, and I thought, okay, And when I'm running the hurdle, sometimes the tunnel vision, I'm not seeing who's on my left and right, I'm just focused on my lane. And the only time I'm starting to think about who's next to me or what's going on is when I get off the last hurdle. So when I got off the last hurdle, I glanced to my left, and I saw this Canadian guy going off, and I thought, okay, then there was a blanket. And I remember dipping to the line. Then I saw the Canadian guy run off and throwing his hand up in the air, and I thought, well, he's won it. I thought, oh, that's the guy who won. And then I looked at the replay, and you could see there's a line of about 2 or 3 athletes, and I was one of the guys in the line. So if you start looking at the screen, the big screen, you start looking at it thinking, okay, where? And they're showing the replay. They showed the replay about 3 times, then they throwed up the name. In first place, Mark McCoy. I thought, okay, that's the guy sort of running around the corner. I thought, yeah, he won that. Then you go, second place, a guy from America, Tony Dees. At first when I saw Tony, I thought, yeah, then I thought Tony, I thought, no, Dees. I thought, okay. Then he went, third place, Tony Jarrett. And I thought, done it. I thought, I got bronze medal. And I thought, got happy, ran, somebody threw me the flag, grabbed the flag, put it around my neck, ran around. Now, I ran the whole 400 meters around the track. I ran high-fiving people, fist pumping, ran all the way around, did my lap of honor, got to the press, and they asked me questions, and I'm thanking my mum, my dad, my sisters, my brothers, my cat, my dog. I'm thanking everybody. Then I saw the presenter's face just drop. He goes, oh, sorry, Mr. Jarrett, stop to cut you there. You didn't come third, you came fourth. I thought, what? And my mum said, when she watched it, you could hear my heart crack on TV. I was like, what do you mean? I said, my name was on there. He goes, oh, me and this American guy ran the same time. We both crossed it. They couldn't split it, but they normally split it up to 100th of a second. But they said they split it into 1,000th of a second and gave it to the American guy instead of me. And I was like, gutted. I thought, what, can't you give us both a medal? They were like, nope. Come further. And I always say fourth is the worst place you can come. I thought, I wish I came back 6th or 7th. Because fourth in that time was kind of horrible. It hurt me. But that was the closest I got to my Olympic gold medal, one of the medals.
That is so gutting.
It was heart-wrenching.
How were you after that?
I was like spaced out because people were talking to me and I'm like, I couldn't hear them. I was like, hold on. In my brain was like, I saw my name. My name was Tony Jarrett, third. And I'm thinking, but I ran a whole lap. That's what I was thinking. I ran a whole lap. He didn't. He didn't even run a lap. I ran a whole lap and they gave it to him. It was just heart-wrenching, and the worst thing is when everybody's coming up to you and, oh, sorry about that. And you just think, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it, man. I just want to get me home. Just get me on the plane, let me go home.
Yeah, but you have won gold medals, but you developed a nickname. Or you didn't develop it. You were given it for a while.
Yeah. Do you want me to tell that story?
Yeah, why not?
All right. Well, back in '93, that's when British athletics was really doing well. We had a great team of athletes. Like when we went to this World Championship, we had like Linford Christie, Sally Gunnell, John Regis, Steve Backley, Jonathan Edwards. Who else was there? Colin Jackson. And we had such a great championship. The first time we went to a major championships and brought back so many golds and silver medals. And I brought back a silver medal where Colin broke the world record at that time, and I came second. Nobody expected Britain to come 1 and 2 in the hurdles, and it was great because we actually stuffed the Americans, which was great because they were sort of really, they were a bit boasty, They were a bit boasty, like, oh, They said Colin was a bottler because Colin should have won that Olympic Games in '92. He should have won it, really. And they said, well, Tony, we don't have to worry about him. And they said, he's not going to do anything. So they said Colin was a bottler and they didn't have to worry about me. And we both came first and second in that championships. And like I said, Colin broke the world record and I broke the English record. So I ran 13 seconds dead, which right now, even in the championships now, if I ran 13 seconds now, I'll still win the championships. That's how quick the time was. And I remember we were so elated that we won that and the British team did really well. And I remember there was a show called The Big Breakfast. This was back in on Channel 4. It was like the first morning show. And when I finished that championship, they asked me to come on the show and talk about our great British team. So I thought, okay, I'm phoning up my friends. I said, listen, Tuesday morning, switch on the TV, I'm on TV, big breakfast in the morning. I'm telling my mum, these times you had to have recorders. So I said, Mum, put the tape recorder in and tape it. I'm there. So I went on the show, and there was a guy called Johnny Vaughan. Do you know who Johnny Vaughan is? Right, Johnny Vaughan. So he told me to bring out my medal, and I brought out my medal. He was like, how you did it? And I was like, yeah, I'm so proud that, I've got my silver medal, and, how Britain really did well, and how we did well in all our good events. And he looked at the medal, and he was like, Mr. Jarrett, he goes, that's great, but that's a silver medal. How many gold medals you have? So I went, oh, well. I said, well, Johnny, I haven't got no gold. I've got a lot of silvers. So he goes, Mr. Jarrett, we've got a name for you. Tony No Gold. And that sort of, when he said it, this is live TV in the morning. I remember sitting there, and I had an out-of-body experience, you know what I mean? And my out-of-body experience meant I wanted to get up and give him a right hand of fellowship across his face. You know what I mean? Because he didn't, I'm like, listen, hold on, I ran out my socks in that race, you know what I mean? Unfortunately, Colin was just miles way better than me at that time. And I said, look, I gave it my best. And he goes, and call me Tony No Gold. You think I didn't go in that race wanting to win? I wanted to win. So that really played with me, you know what I mean? Because I'm thinking like, there was another female athlete, a Jamaican athlete called Merlin Otti, and they used to say the same thing about her, you know what I mean? She used to always get silver, and I thought, I don't want to leave my sport without getting a gold medal. And that, every race after that, it sort of haunted me. And I remember like going to training, you could hear people talking, and you're thinking, oh, they're talking about, you can thinking, oh, are they saying Tony No Gold, are they talking about me like I haven't got no medal? So it really affected me, you know what I mean? I played it down, I was like, nah, I laughed it off, but it really, every race, and I had a few championships after that, I didn't do well. And it really bugged me, it really sort of got down. I mean, I'm thinking, well, am I going to finish my career without a gold medal? That was hard.
Now, I've already ruined it a bit in that I've said you have won gold. But before that, I mean, in the midst of all this, are you a Christian? Have you always believed? Have you always had a faith, or what?
Right.
Where were you personally?
Okay. Before that, I wouldn't say, I had a faith in the sense I believed there was a God. I was brought up a Catholic, so I knew there was a God, but I didn't have a personal relationship with God. And so I thought my lifestyle was cool anyway. I thought, listen, I'll go to church on a Sunday, you know what I mean, do my few Hail Marys, kneel and get up, and then forget everything until next Sunday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if next Sunday comes, I'm thinking, do I want to go to church or not? So I didn't have that kind of personal relationship. And I always believed that God calls you and he puts people in your life. And as I was searching, you know what I mean, because I'm like, when I was racing, the only time I'm calling on God was when I'm racing. I'll be like, please, Lord, let me beat that Welshman. Please, Lord, let me beat the American guy. You know what I mean? I'm praying, you know what I mean? The night before the race, I'm like, please, let me beat the Welshman. Please, let me beat them Americans. You know what I mean? So that's the only time I'm praying. Apart from that, no. But the weirdest thing is, like, a young man who trained in our group called Julian Golding. He was a sprinter. When I first saw him, I remember he came up to me and he said that I'm a sprinter. And I looked at him and he looked so skinny. If you saw him, he looked like Mo Farah. So I'm thinking he's going to tell me like he's running 8s and 15s. He goes, no, I'm doing 100 and 200. I'm like, nah, not with them skinny legs. I looked at him like, not with them skinny legs. There's no power. Whoops, that's my phone going off. Whoops. Sorry about that.
It's all right.
Yeah. Ooh. Never have your phone on.
If it's your agent, you can answer it.
Hey, he's not my agent, to tell the truth. Sorry about that. As he was there, I remember like he used to carry his Bible with him. He used to, like, when we were warming up, he would sit there. As we were warming up, he'd be stretching and he had his little Bible and he'd be reading his Bible. And after a while, he used to come and talk to us about it. And the whole group would be like, do you know about God? And we're like, yeah. And some of us would run off when he comes and talks to us. And I remember it was so bad because like, he just kept doing it. And we're like, he got frustrated at times, like, because we used to call him a name. You ever watch, who watched The Simpsons? Right, there's a character called Flanders, yeah? That's what we used to call him. He's like, oh, Flanders is coming. And we like, and he would come and talk to us about the Bible and stuff, and we're like, yeah. And I think, at first I used to run away, then after a while, I used to sit there and listen to him. I thought, okay, let me listen to what this guy was saying. And I listened to him, then I thought, yeah. Then I'll forget it. And one day, I went to a meeting abroad, and sometimes when you go to these meetings, you have to share with another athlete. And when you look at the list, I saw the list, and they said, oh, Tony, you're sharing Julian Golding. I thought, oh my gosh, Julian Golding. I thought, no, don't want to share with him. So I remember, like, I went into the room, and as I opened the door, Julian was there, sitting down there with his Bible, reading. So I thought, oh, okay, here we go now. And then, he talked to me about it, and I was like, yeah, Julian, yeah. And then one time I thought, I'm not going to, he started to pray before he went to bed. And I thought, right, something, I'm going to get the covers put over my head. I don't want to hear nothing. Put my head over the covers over my head. I'm pretending I'm sleeping. Then I heard Jack, he said, Tony, I want to tell you a story. So I thought, oh. I said, what, Julian? He goes, listen, I need to tell you this story. Then he told me the story about the end times and about the mark of the beast. So I remember, like, I was laying in my bed. At first, I had the covers over my head. Next minute, I had the covers looking at him like, okay. Next minute, I was sitting at the edge of the bed looking at me like that. What? I'm like, nah. I thought, nah, yeah, that's nothing. That can't be true. I'm looking at him like, nah, that can't be a true story, Julian. I said, no. He goes, no, this is a true story. This is what is going to actually happen. I was like, no. I'm like, we should make a film from that, man, because that would be a good film. You know what I mean? Make some money. And, you talked about it, and we sat down chatting, and I was sitting there just listening to him. I'm thinking, wow, Julian. I'm like, wow, that's some deep stuff you're telling me here. And he goes, well, and he told me about, if you don't give your life to Christ, this is what's going to happen. And I was like, and he asked me, do you want it? I was like, nah, Julian, I'm all right, mate. Don't worry, I'm good. I know God. I know him, you know what I mean? I know him. I'm not a bad person. Then he told me about what the stuff I was doing and saying. I'm like, oh, yeah, well, I am a bad person, but not that bad, you know what I mean? I'm not that bad. But the funny thing is, and this is what I believe how God works. I remember with that went through the night, we raced the next day, and we got back home very late after the competition. We got back really late. Something happened to the plane, we got back really late. And normally when I get home, the first thing I do is drop my bags down, go in the fridge, get something to drink, and switch on the TV. So I got home, dropped my bag down, got a drink out the fridge, switched on the TV, and I saw this advert, which up to today, I don't know what the advert is, never seen it again. But I remember just seeing this hand go across the screen like that with barcodes on it like that. Then it just finished. I don't know what the advert was about. And I remember standing up with my drink, and I just slouched back into the sofa like that, thinking, what did I just see there? I thought, what was that? Then what Julian was telling me started to sort of resonate in my head, and I was like, oh my God, I thought, is that what Julian was talking about? Then, when I start seeing things like now, you can go to a shop and you can barcode there, you can just get your food and pay that way. And I thought, hold on, these things are coming a bit too quick. Then I remember speaking to Julian, he goes, Jarrett, God is calling you. And I think another time what happened, he actually said to me, invite me to his church. And I was like, oh gosh, I don't want to go to this church now. I thought, not one of these churches. And I know what kind of church he goes to. So I was like, no, I don't want to go to it. He goes, no, come. And he goes, just come to one of my churches, one of the services. And I have an older sister who's a Christian, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Christian from when she was young. But when she used to talk to us, run. we run, you know what I mean? Every time she comes to the house, she knows not to talk about it because we will run, you know what I mean? So what happened one day, every Mondays, we used to go to my mum's house. The whole family would go to my mum's house, get Sunday dinner, watch Monday dinner. We go down and sit and spend some time with my mum. So I remember coming to the house and sat down and I didn't see my sister, my older sister. And I said, Mum, where's Claudette? She goes, no, Claudette said she phoned up, she wasn't coming. So I thought, okay. So I sat down, ate my dinner, said goodbye to Mum, got in my car, drove about 5 minutes up the road, then my engine just shut down. The car my steering went funny, lights went off, and the car just rolled into the side. So I thought, oh my God. So luckily I got a bit of speed. I ran back to my mum's house. I'm thinking, right, I'm gonna phone the breakdown service. And when I got to my mum's house, I opened the door, my sister was there. So I told my sister, I thought, oh, what are you doing there? She goes, oh, I just thought to come down. I thought, okay. She goes, what are you doing back here? And I said, well, look, my car broke down just down the road. She goes, all right, I'm gonna drive you there. And we wait for the breakdown service. So as we were driving there, I was thinking, I should tell my sister about this guy, Julian, and he asked me to come to this church. So as I was thinking it, my sister turned around and looked at me. She goes, I think in my heart, I feel like you want to tell me something. And I went, what? I thought, no, not really. She goes, no, I feel like you want to tell me something. I was like, well, tell you the truth, sis. So-and-so, Julian, asked me to go to this church and just to visit. So my sister goes, look, don't be scared. Just go there with an open heart. So I thought, I phoned Julian up. I said, Julian, all right, I'll come down there. Went to the church. Brilliant. Really nice. It made me really welcome. The praise and worship was awesome. It was just a good prayer and stuff like that. And for me, it was just, I just thought, wow, seeing all these people, I said, I want to know this God, what these guys are serving. And another weird thing did happen, which really took me to another level, where I met this girl years ago.
Can I pause you there, Tony?
Yeah, go on.
Because we need to take a break. But that's a good cliffhanger for people to wait on. We'll hear more about this girl.
Yeah.
I think she's an important girl, if I've done my research right. And more about your story and about how you won gold as well. But we're going to take a 10-minute break. So refresh your drinks, grab your snacks, need a loo if you need to, and we'll be back in 10 minutes to continue. Thank you very much. come grab your seat again. Come on in. We're going to continue on with Tony Jarrett. Come on in if you're in the lounge. Do grab your seat. Okay, so Tony, when I interrupted you,
Yeah.
you were just about to tell us about a certain someone
Yeah.
God used in your life.
Yeah. How can I put this? When I was doing well, and the funny thing is, when you're doing well, and at the time, you know, you do certain things, which is not really good. I had a girlfriend, and at the same time, I had another friend. I mean, I was trying to play two girls at once. And, but the second girl, I met her through a friend. And, you know, we really got on really well, spoke to her, we just chatted, we laughed, and things could have got serious, really serious with her. But then I looked at her, she looked at me, and she said, look, I know that, and I was honest with her. I was like, you know, I'm going out with somebody, but I'm not too serious about that one. My nose was growing at that time. And I said, look, you know, I mean, I'm not that serious, but I like you, and, you know, we see this go further. And then we got to a situation where we said, like, one day, we just looked at each other and said, no, this can't go on. You know, I mean, we can't go on, because she goes, like, I'm in a relationship, and I shouldn't be doing that to the other girl. And I thought, yeah, you're right, I shouldn't do that. And so we split. And I remember when we split, I remember, like, seeing one of my friends. I saw him the same day when I said, and he just saw me looking miserable. And I said, and he goes, what's wrong with you? You don't look well. You don't look happy. And I looked at him, I said, Gary, I think I made the biggest mistake in my life. I let this girl go. And then he goes, well, listen, he said to me, like, we're chatting, and he was like, don't worry, Tony, you know, you might find, you know, you got your girlfriend. I said, no, I don't think that's one serious. She's lovely, but not that serious. You know what I mean? And I think this girl could be very serious. I said, that's the kind of girl I would like to marry. My friend came to me, he goes, well, look, you never know. You could see her again. I was like, nah, that could never happen. That's gone now. She's gone. So years went by, and as I was getting to the situation where I started to think about my faith, and I was thinking, like, you know, something, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm looking at my life, I'm thinking, my life is a bit of a mess, you know what I mean? And Julian used to be there at the track, and he would say something to me, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not there, man. And I'm still want to search for this God, what you're searching for. And I'm like, I don't know, you know, can I go to that next step? And I thought, right, you know something, I'm going to start change my life in the sense of, like, I'm not going to try to do all this bad stuff. Because, like, when I'm around my friends, my mouth was a bit foul as well, because they're all swearing and stuff. And Julian, every time I used to be swearing, Julian looks at me like, can't be doing that, Tom. You know, he goes, no, you can't do that. You know, you shouldn't be. That's not nice, you know. And I remember, like, saying to him, like, I said to Julian, I said, Julian, what do you mean swearing? Everybody swears. He goes, Tony, if you got to get an MBE from the Queen, he goes, would you swear? I said, no, of course not. You know, I speak my good English. He goes, well, the Queen is flesh and blood, just like you and me, but you're around the King of Kings and Lord of Lords every day of your life. I thought, oh, you're right. He goes, he sees and hears what you're doing. So I thought, all right, Julian, I thought, all right, you get a bit deep again. So I remember, like, my brain was really thinking about, like, clearing the things up. Years went on, and out of the blue, I got a call. And I picked up the phone, and I heard, hello, is this Tony? And I said, yeah. And I heard the voice, I thought, that sounds familiar. And she goes, it's Beverly. I thought, Beverly? And she goes, yeah, that's the girl I sort of broke up with. And she goes, yeah. And I said, oh my God. I was like, all happy. I thought, this just called me. I was like, yes. So I was there talking to her. And she goes, Tony, but I'm not the Beverly you used to know. So I'm like, eh? That's what you mean? She goes, no, I'm not the Beverly you used to know. And I thought, no, clarify that. What do you mean by that? She goes, Tony, I'm a Christian. So I thought, oh, geez. I was like, okay. And she goes, yeah. And she goes, I'm phoning you. There's me thinking she's phoning me for get back together. She goes, I'm phoning you to come church. I was like, okay, another church thing. So I thought, right, you know something? If it gets me back with her, just to be in her presence, I'll go church. I'm going church. So I went to church. Now, when we was having this little relationship, I was really honest with her and told her what the kind of person I was, what the stuff. I was honest with her. Didn't lie to her at all. I told her straight. So when I went into this church now, it was her, her mum, and her sister. So I was like, okay, sitting there. So I sat in this church. The service went on. So everything I was doing bad in my life, the pastor was talking about. Everything I told her was going on in my life, what I was kind of sinful thing, pastor was talking about. So I was sitting in this church now, sweating. Sinking in my chair, teeth grinding, thinking, you brought me here, and you told the pastor about me. You know what I mean? So I'm getting angry. I'm sitting there like, I'm sinking in my chair every minute, like, oh no, this is embarrassing. He's talking about me. So as the service finished, I remember I got out there and I was steaming, like, what do you bring me here? You know what I mean? He goes, no, Tony, that's the sermon he spoke. I didn't speak to him. I don't talk to him in that kind of way. That's what he spoke, what he was speaking about. And I thought, oh my God. I thought, you sure? She goes, that's what he was talking about. And I remember speaking to Julian, and so I spoke to Julian another time, and Julian goes, God's calling you. So after that, me and my girlfriend, we sort of got back together in a science sense. But she goes, Tony, you can't live the life where you're living. So I think in 1998, going into 1999, New Year's, I remember we were sitting there and we were sitting in the house, and Beverly went to me and she goes, look, I said to her, I looked at her and I said, look, I don't want to go into the new year that same Tony Jarrett. I want to be a bit different. I want to know this God, what you guys are talking about. She goes, okay, you just got to do this simple thing. And she goes, I'm going to lead you into the sinner's prayer. And you've got to repeat after me, but you've got to know it, believe in your heart that that's what you want to do. And you just want to let go and let God take control. So she led me in this sinner's prayer, and I said it, and I felt this like a relief. Just like I said this sinner's prayer, and I was just like, okay. I was like, okay. And I was like, is that it? She goes, yeah, you're in. You know what I mean? You're in that. She goes, anything happened to you, you're in the Lamb's Book of Life, your name's there. I thought, that's easy. But I'm thinking, that it? Because I'm thinking, I'm waiting for this cloud to open up. Hello, Tony Jarrett. Welcome to the Lord. Nothing like that, but the peace. When God says their peace, what passes all understanding, that what came out. I just felt perfect peace. And from then, that's when my life changed from there.
So what was going on there when you prayed? Do you remember what you prayed?
No, you're just simple. It's just like that. You just said, Lord, I ask you to come into my life, to wash me and cleanse me. I know that I'm a sinner, but I want you to come in and cleanse me and make me new again. Simply, it wasn't long. I just said it, but as I was saying it, I sort of like, my brain was like, something, I want this. This is what, I don't want to be the Tony Jarrett of old. I want to be this new Tony Jarrett. I want to have this God, what everybody's talking about. So I thought, my brain was like, okay, I just want this God to come to me, and I want to feel this God.
You mentioned that kind of feeling convicted in the service, and that sense of kind of, you said the word sin in your own life, and wanting to not live just in that life. I don't know, how does Jesus help you with that?
Well, he just, I think two things. He convicts me. When I first was doing, I got saved. It's not like I was just got saved and everything changed. But when I started to do something, if I did something, I felt convicted. I just felt something in my spirit like, whoa, no, that's not good. You know what I mean? So I was just like, oh, geez, hold on. When somebody, you feel the spirit like, I thought, oh, that don't feel right. That's not right. And I thought, and I just wanted to know more of this God. You know what I mean? I started to read scriptures and, to delve into the word. And I just thought, this God is awesome. And my life, I know that he's in control. He created me, and he's in control. He was just waiting for me to come. And now all I've got to do is just surrender to him, and he would take control of everything else. Now, it's not always going to be easy, but he's in control. And that's what I try to do, just let go and let God take control.
Yeah. I mean, someone say, all right, Tony, Jarrett, you know how to work hard. You know how to train hard. If you want to become a better person, surely just work harder at it. Why do you need Jesus? Why bring God into the picture?
Because God is, like I said, all-seeing, all-knowing. And God is, how can I put it? I believe that when God created us, and he brought his son, Jesus Christ, down for us. He died for us so that we can have a better life, afterlife. Right here where we are, this is great, but there's an afterlife. And God sent Jesus down to die for us. Jesus Christ died, shed his blood for us, so that to give us an opportunity so that we can serve him, to have that relationship. So, he made it so simple. You know what I mean? It wasn't nothing hard. You know what I mean? He just made it simple, but that simple thing made me realize that God wants us, he wants me to be right with him and to go out and spread the word and make people see the love of Christ in me so that they can see the love of Christ in everything.
What would you say about, though, you're quite successful, and you're having a pretty good life by a lot of people's standards?
Yep.
So what would you say to someone kind of saying, well, I've got a good life? You surely had a great life. You don't really need God. You were happy before, weren't you?
Yeah. The funny thing is, I was happy, but then I look back, nah. You know what I mean? Because, I look back now, and I look back and think, I see all these celebrities, you having the life of, you have the money, the riches, the fame, and then you hear their life, they're not happy, they're taking drugs. And I'm thinking, hold on, you have all the great things, you know what I mean? And that's, the weirdest thing is, I'll give you, just to switch it a little bit, because I remember when I got saved, I had a race in Europeans where I should have, worse, come second or third. First or second. And I remember I was saved, you know what I mean? I remember I went into this race, chest out, you know what I mean? I thought I was like Superman. I was standing there like that. I looked Colin in the eye. I'm looking in the eye like, do you know who I'm rolling with right now? Do you know who I'm rolling with? I'm rolling with G-O-D. So this is I'm going to take you out today. I'm rolling with God. God's giving me the glory. I'm going to win this gold medal. And that race was the most horriblest race I've ever run in my life. Normally in the Europeans, second's the worst I can get. I didn't come first. I didn't come second. I didn't come third. I didn't come fourth. I didn't come fifth. I came sixth. And I remember crossing that line, and I thought, the first thing is, I crossed the line, I saw the Welshman running around the bend with his hand up in the air, and I thought, oh, bloody hell, he's won it again. And I thought, there he goes, he's done it. And I thought, I looked up and I said, God, what's happening? I said, I should be, giving you the glory. I prayed this morning, read some scriptures, and I came sixth. And then my brain was like, that little dark thought came in. When I didn't know you, I was running fast. I was winning medals. But now I know I'm running backwards. So it was kind of like a battle. But luckily I had good people around me, and they really sort of grounded me. And they just said, listen, stay faithful. God is in control. You know what I mean? And I always said to myself, like, even when my career ended, I always said to, I tore my cruciate ligament in my knee. And I remember when I'd done my cruciate ligament, my career was coming to an end, and I thought, God, why is this happening to me? And this is the first time I've actually heard, it's like a little voice saying, Tony. And for me, my brain was like, why did this happen to me? I haven't won my gold. I just won that gold medal, and I thought I was going to get on better. I thought I was going to go into better things. And God sort of said to me, he goes, if you were to win another gold and be Olympic champion, world record holder, would you serve me? And then I sat there and I was like, no, really, because I would have worshipped the medals. I forgot God. And that's what a lot of things happened. I would have focused more on the glory of medals and the fame it got me, and I forgot the blessings what God have given me. So that's when I realized is that, when people say to me, oh, yeah, but I said, no, but I know for me that I know that I've got a peace. That if anything happens to me, I know I'm going to see my God one day. You know what I mean? And my job is to go out there and try to help you to see the same thing. And I know that I'm trying to live the way God is asking me to live. I'm not perfect, far from it. I make mistakes, but I know that my God is there for me, and I trust in him. And that's what I do. I'll just trust in him and stay focused on him.
Yeah. Thank you for that. What was it like then, I guess, being, or kind of saying, all right, I'm going to be a Christian. I'm going to follow Jesus now as an athlete?
It was kind of hard because other people saw me as the Tony Jarrett before. So they'd be like, nah, when I told them, like, no. Like even what my wife said to me, I used to say, no, I'm not that Tony Jarrett you used to know. And when I got baptized, when I got into that water and came out, that old Jarrett was washed away. So I was like, listen, you don't understand, I'm not that same Jarrett. So they were like, nah, Tony, you can't be, I know you know what you've done. And I said, yeah, done, that was in the past, that's all washed away now. And you know, when some people would say, oh, Tony, come on, come back to the dark side, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Come back, and I'm like, listen, no. I said, listen, I'm a new creature in Christ, and the Tony Jarrett, what you thought, is not the same one.
And would you say, I mean, that new life, like going with God, is it worth it?
Yeah, it's definitely worth it. I've seen God do some awesome things for me. Even through this COVID situation, I caught COVID, and badly, when I say really badly, and I just saw the power of prayer. It got to a stage where that COVID knocked me straight out. It knocked me out. I collapsed 2 times, couldn't walk from here to there. It was like a struggle, and I just had people praying for me. And you know, when that prayer came in, and I had people praying from different countries for me, and I felt God's presence, and I just felt God just healed me. Because I remember a lot of people said to me when I got caught it, you know, somebody said, oh, you need to go to hospital. Go to hospital, you need to go in the hospital. And that scared me. I was like, no, I don't want to go to hospital. Because when I heard people were in hospital and they can't see their family, you know what I mean? I said, there's no way I want to be in a hospital and I can't see my mum and my mum, no, it's not my mum, sorry, my wife and my children. You know what I mean? I can't see them. So I said, if anything's going to happen to me, I'm staying here. But God was in control, and he healed me, got me back strength. He got me these 3 products. I don't know, all I'm going to tell you, this how God works. This guy we did know had these 3 products, and he's a Christian. And he said, one of my brother-in-law phoned him up and said, listen, do you have anything what can help? And he said, he gave me these 3 products, and he goes, take these 3 products. He goes, no, what he said first, he goes, before you take these 3 products, pray. And I thought, okay. And I got the 3 products. Me and my wife sat around it. We prayed. And in a space of an hour, my breathing came back. The next day, my energy came back. Then I was all right. That's God. But that's all prayers. Everything was interceding to help me to where I am today.
Okay.
So I know God is in control. And that's just half of what God's done. There's so many other little things where God just stepped in, where I was struggling, and then God just opened doors for me, put people in my life in the right place, right time.
A quick side note, you've been mentioning your wife. Your wife's name is Beverly?
Beverly, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you can connect the dots.
Yeah.
Yes.
She was my girlfriend, now she's my wife.
Okay.
Been 22 years this year.
Congratulations. So you did eventually win gold. You've won 2 golds, is that right? You've won one in a relay as well.
No, I've got silvers in relay, because we missed out on the gold in '93. We just missed out. The Americans just picked us on the line. But my Commonwealth gold, them Americans again. Americans. But I got my main goal from the Commonwealth Games, and that was the most hardest medal to win, because going into that Commonwealth game, I was favourite. Colin pulled out, and when I got to the England village, everybody was saying, Tony, yo, Collins pulled out, the medal's yours. And I'm looking at these guys like, are you crazy? It's not. And about 2 months back, that Europeans where I came sixth, that what happened. So I was like, didn't you see what happened in the Europeans? I didn't even get a medal. So I'm coming to this Commonwealth Games, you're saying I got gold. I had a bad championships before. So I was a bag of nerves. But Julian was there as well. And all Julian said to me, just go into scriptures. And that's all I did. I went into scriptures. And one of the scriptures, the first thing I looked at it, and it was just like, trust in the Lord with all thy heart and lean not into your own understanding. In all thy ways, acknowledging He would direct your path. And that's all I did. I mean, stood on that, and then I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And I just stood on those words. And lo and behold, my first gold medal was here.
So, Tony, no gold, no longer. Yes.
Exactly. When I won this gold medal, I crossed the line, and I didn't really convincingly. I knew I won it, but it was on a dip. But I knew I won it because I knew I dipped this guy. And when they flashed up my name, and I was running around, the only thing I was thinking about, go back on the big breakfast and talk to Johnny Vaughan. That's all I wanted to go back on that show. I thought I was going to get to my agent, get back to the hotel, get to the agent, get me back on that show. Let me tell him, Tony has a gold.
Nice. Did you?
No. I think he went to, I think he was working with Capital Radio at the time. I think so Big Breakfast was finished.
We've got a few minutes left, Tony. I wanted to ask you a couple things before we end. I guess the first one is just, because you mentioned you believed in God from the beginning, in a sense, but there's clearly a change. Like, what's the difference for you between kind of you believing in God and being a Christian?
I think the most important thing now is having a relationship, and that's the main thing, is having a relationship with God. And before, I just knew Him, but I didn't have that relationship with Him. I would just go around and do what I need to do. But now, I get up, I pray, I speak to Him. You know what I mean? There's days I'll go into deep prayers. There's every day I'm just talking to Him like I'm talking to you. I said, God, help me out now. Come on. Stressed out. Car's giving me stress. Please. But that is a deeper relation, and I try to study the Word, and there are times some of the words in that Bible, I'm like, what is that? I mean, but then I read it again, then, get revelation from it, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's what God's trying to tell me. And like I said, that personal relationship, that closeness, and having other people around you, like my wife, my friends, and going to church, and like they say, iron sharpens iron. And so when I get into with my people who are Christians as well, and we sharpen each other up, you can't be better than that.
Amazing. I normally ask a final question for you to kind of speak to 3 different people. I'm going to ask you to speak to 4 different people, though. So, an event like this, there's normally 3 kind of people. There's some people here who are Christians, who may be a part of the church or part of another church. There's some people here who are maybe exploring faith, kind of maybe interested, but they're on the fence still about Jesus, God, the cross. And there's some people here thinking, Tony, Jarrett is lovely, but this is all nonsense, Jesus, God, faith. So my question is, what would you say to those 3 people? I'm going to add a 4th one, if you can do this one first, which is just, are there any young aspiring athletes here? What would you say to them?
Faithful wise, on the faith tip, or? Both. Aspiring athlete, the first thing I say, you've got to work hard. You have to put the work in. If you don't put the work in, you're not going to see the goals. But apart from that, if you're going to put the work in, you got to know that make God your center. That's everything. Because I know if I had God when I was doing well, you know what I mean? I'm not saying I'd been better, but I knew I'd appreciate things a bit more. And I would say for anybody, sportsman or woman, who are going into it, and you're a Christian, make God your center, because there are enemies out there. When things go great, He's coming to kill, steal, and destroy, and take your glory away. And you will start thinking about you start forgetting the blessing, and you forget the blesser and start thinking about the blessing. And you've got to make God your center first. You make God center, then he takes care of everything else. Even if it doesn't go well, I would say that when my career went to the pot and it started you're slowing down, God opened other doors. God always, like he said, never leaves you nor forsakes you. He's always got a plan for you. You know what I mean? And sometimes I thought my plan was athletics going to be like, no, he made another plan for me, so which I enjoy doing.
Amazing. Now, for Christians, what are your final words then? We have a minute.
Yeah, for Christians.
For Christians, for people on the fence about faith, Jesus, and for people who are feeling really skeptical.
All right, I'm going to go skeptical. Skeptical, look, you just got to get into the Word. You read, I just look at the Word of God. And when I read the Word of God, it opens doors. And first thing, before you get skeptical, you read and you pray first, and you just say, let's ask God to reveal things to you. Because when you read that Bible, it opens doors and opens your mind to the way the world is and where God wants you to be. Yeah, and when I read it now, sometimes I think, my God, that's what's happening now. I can see this, and God is trying to do this. And I'm like, okay, God, I hear you. So that Bible, that's what I say, is the book of life. You know what I mean? That's what it's a book of life. It's the book what shows you how you should live. You know what I mean? Because if anybody wants to live the right life, trust that Bible, and he will take you in that right path. And what's the next one then?
On the fence. And believers.
On the fence. I just say, listen, come off the fence, man. Just trust God. You know what I mean? That fence thing, I'll just say the world, I work in a school, and I personally, because I mentor young kids, and I can see the way the world is destroying our young kids. It's destroying them, you know what I mean? And they're picking up they don't want to study no more. They want quick fix and easy money. They want fast living. You know what I mean? I remember once upon a time, to be famous, you had to have a great talent. Now you don't have to have a talent. Just go on a show, and then you're famous, you know what I mean, doing silliness. So the world is very corrupt, and it's trying to push everybody down the wrong road. And come off that fence and see the light, because that's the thing. If you go into the world, the light, you will see the light where God wants to show you. You come out of that darkness, wipe the scales of darkness out of your eyes and see the light.
Amazing. And what about for people who are believers already?
Believers, just go out there and just spread the news. You know what I mean? That's as simple as that. That's what God wants us to do, to go out there and spread the gospel, show the love of Christ. You know what I mean? That's what he wants you to do. You know what I mean? We want us to go out there and not be judgmental, because God is the judge. We just go out there and touch people's lives. Let them know how this Jesus that we serve, how awesome he is, how wonderful he is, and what he can do for you if you just let him take control.
Amazing. He's an Olympic athlete, he's a gold medal winner, and he is a Christian. Thank you so much, Tony Jarrett. Let's give him a warm round of applause. Thank you. And you're willing to stick around a bit if people want a selfie with the medal, maybe?
I've got the other medals here. I've got silvers and bronze in here, so if you want to see.
Amazing.
Yeah, silvers and bronze.
As we wrap up, if you are where you are in your journey and exploring faith, maybe you feel very skeptical about faith, but you've come along. We're really glad you're here. Or you're feeling a bit on the fence and you have more questions. I really encourage you. I did not prime, actually, Tony, for this, but we'd really encourage you. One of the best ways to explore and to decide for yourself whether you think it's true that Jesus is God and he came into this world and he died on a cross for our sins so we could be forgiven and have an eternal relationship with God, is to get stuck in and look at the first-hand accounts of Jesus' life for yourself, which are called the Gospels. So we have copies of Mark's Gospel, which also has some questions in it. If you want to, questions help sometimes in getting into looking at it for yourself, or you want to look at it with somebody else. They'll be out on the table as you go out on the right. Please do take one. This is, Mark's account of Jesus' life. Look for yourself as an adult and explore for yourself with an open mind. We really encourage that, and if you'd like to read it with someone and explore it with someone, we'd be happy to do that too. Please do come talk to me afterwards. You're also very welcome to join us here. Next Sunday, we have a baptism service in the morning, which is a great way of seeing a little more about what is this whole thing of deciding to follow Jesus. We also meet at 6 p.m., 10 p.m. and 6 p.m. Here at City. You're very welcome to join us, though, as you heard from Tony, sometimes it's usually a really great experience. It can be a bit uncomfortable sometimes. Thank you so much for coming. If you'd like to talk to anyone about things you've heard, I'm very happy to chat, or anybody with a red lanyard as well is here for you. Thank you so much for coming, and thank you so much again, one more time, for Tony Jarrett. Thank you so much.